Welcome to the conversation where we talk to professionals in the performing arts and entertainment industry. I am your host, Veronique George, and today I have the pleasure of talking with Christopher Ryan. I have the opportunity to work with Christopher on the virtual reading of The Counterfeit 2, and it's so good to be able to connect with you again. How are you doing, Christopher?
Hey, I'm doing so well. Thank you so much for reaching out to bring me into this interview process. I'm excited to chat with you.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it as well. So let's get right into it now that you're with us. From stages in Germany and Austria to Tampa and Orlando, your talent has brought you before audiences all over the world. Why did you make the decision to take that leap and work overseas?
Well, when I graduated with my MFA in acting, I worked for a year in Orlando and um, was happy with the work that I was doing there, but definitely wanted to do more musical theater. And I was presented with the opportunity to move to Germany. It looked like it would be a year to 3 years potentially, and I thought, yeah, let's do this. I am a Christian, and I love to pray about any decisions that I make before I jump onto them. And so I spent the evening praying, and the next morning really felt like it was the right thing to do. And so, in a matter of 2 weeks, sold everything in my house, including my ferrets. They weren't able to come with me. Um, Moved to Germany and was there in Europe for about 11 years. And um, like I said, to answer your question specifically, I always pray about any large decision before making it and really trust that I'm going to be given a confirmation, a feeling of peace. And I usually follow that. So that's what made the decision for me. And then once I got there, so many doors were opened. It really was a wonderful time, a learning time, learning a new language and working in German then, and getting to do some really fantastic projects and play some dream roles.
Awesome. Prayer is so key and important in deciding what our next step will be. So I commend you for that and totally agree with you. You began your career teaching acting and costume design, and then later in your career landed a job teaching the next generation of artists. How would you describe this full circle moment?
As beautiful. I think that when I was in Orlando, I was teaching for several community colleges. Like you said, I was teaching costume design and teaching acting and voice. And then I went and spent 11 years as a full-time performer doing musical theater and acting and choreography and fight direction. And then getting to come back and work for the children's theater that I worked for here in Tampa, and get to teach young students, both those who are interested in performance and those who have very little interaction with the arts or performance in general, getting to teach dance classes for them and some acting classes and getting to costume. It really was a very cool full circle experience, like you said, getting to kind of come back to that element of the arts and my engagement with the arts, but also bringing with that my experience as a performer and creative for those many years in Europe.
Awesome. I love those experiences that let you know that God is there with you and orchestrating your steps. So it sounds like he was definitely doing that for you as well. How has
Absolutely.
working internationally broadened your worldview and made you more effective as an actor to be able to bring back those skill sets to the US?
I think that anytime we can travel, and by travel, I don't mean just go on vacation. I mean travel in order with the goal of experiencing and learning about a new culture. We broaden our not only experience base, but what it is that we have to offer as educators and as artists. And so I think that having done productions like The Complete Works of William Shakespeare Abridged in 2 different countries, Um, I did that production in English in both countries, but getting to experience the way that audiences react to it in different cultures
Mhm.
was a very cool experience. Getting to do a Shakespeare production in German after doing it in English here in America um, gives you a different perspective.
Mhm.
The When you do a piece that's translated, um, you get to experience new nuances and colors to the story that you're telling. And
Mhm.
that is very exciting. I got to do my favorite um, musical several times when I was in Europe, Sweeney Todd, and I did the German translation or a German translation of it, and it was so cool to get to experience the nuances of the language. Um, Sondheim is known for his use of language, and getting to experience it, the nuances of that in a different language was really exciting. And getting to bring back all of those experiences, the ways that audiences respond to you, the ways that art is created, and the expectations that we bring to the process as creatives, and then come back to America and get to share that with students, both those who are interested in potentially working in Europe, as well as those who are working here and who are wise enough to be interested in expanding their experience.
I love that. I love it so much. I think it's so important to have that worldview, like you said, not just for to vacation, but also to expand your horizons and then bring back that knowledge and those different experiences back home. So kudos to you. Oh my God, that is amazing that you've had that experience. And I've certainly been able to draw from it working with you in the counterfeit too. So I appreciate and humbled to have worked with you in the past. And kudos to you and all the best in your future endeavors for sure. That
Thank you.
brings us to our next moment together. What advice would you have for international artists looking to work within the US market?
Interesting. I think find your niche. What is it that you bring to the table? And this is true, I think, of American artists looking to work in America and American artists looking to work in Europe and European artists looking to work in America. Um, it's really true across the board. And that is find what it is that you bring to the table that is unique and then fill that void. Um,
Mhm.
I think it's important to know um, yourself and what it is that you bring to the table. That level of self-awareness and self-evaluation is something that comes sometimes at the price of recognizing that maybe um, those skills are not exactly what you wish they were. Um, Case in point, I auditioned for the German production of Wicked,
Mhm.
and it was just after I'd gotten to Germany. My German was not great yet, and I wasn't given an audition. So the way that things work over there is you submit your materials, and either you're invited to an audition or you're not. And I had been very blessed up to that point to have been invited to everything that I had applied to. And I wasn't invited to that. And I loved that show and really wanted to do it. And so I wrote the casting director, which was a bold move. But we were friendly with one another. And so I wrote him and I said, Ralph, why wasn't I invited to this? I would love to get a chance to at least present myself for this show.
Mhm.
And he said, um, well, the Dr. Delamont, the character that one of the characters in the show, decided not to leave. He's going to stay. This was a replacement audition for a replacement production. So the original cast member decided to stay, and he doesn't have any covers open, and so it didn't fit. And he said, "And you're not a Fiero," and Fiero, of course, is the lead in the male lead in the show, and
Mhm. Mhm.
that could have hurt, but I recognized it myself, and I said, "You know, that's true. I'm much more of a Dr. Dillamond." And I think being honest with ourselves and recognizing what it is that we do bring to the table, and celebrating that. You know, because I'm not a Fierro doesn't make me any less valuable. And because, that Dr. Delamont role wasn't available doesn't make me any less valuable. I think one of the things that I definitely endeavor to impart to students and share with colleagues is that you're valuable apart from what you do. And so the innate value that you have as a person and as an artist doesn't change depending on what it is that you produce. I know I've gone off on a tangent there, so hopefully I've answered your question.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just piggybacking off of that last point, you are not what you do. Who you are is not what you do, and that's so important. Definitely that piece of advice, I think that nugget will benefit the next generation of artists and those artists both abroad and, like you said, domestically as well. So thank you for those nuggets. Thank you so much. What's next for you? What's on your plate?
A lot is next. I'm in the process of applying and interviewing for professorships. I'm looking to move into academia full time. And I'm excited for the change. I love to teach. I love to bring out the potential that each student has inside them. I think that every artist and every person, but especially because this is my field, every artist has unlimited potential within them. And my role as an educator is to guide them in discovering that and unlocking it so that they can live in that potential. So I'm excited to continue in that process and find the right fit for me where it is that I will be teaching and helping students to unlock their potential.
Awesome. Well, again, I wish you all of the best. We cannot wait to see where you land next. We know it's going to be exciting and you're going to excel. So all the best there. Where can our audience continue to find you and interact with you on social media?
Absolutely. Thank you. And I think it's on the screen there. The best place is probably Instagram. Christopher Ryan Official is my Instagram account. And I have decided in the past year and a half that I won't be as actively present on that account for my own peace of mind. And but I am still there. And so if anybody has a question and wants to send a message, I will be there to answer. And I do post occasionally, but not as often as I was. And they can feel free to check out my website as well. I have contact information there, and that is Christopher Ryan MFA, like Master of Fine Arts.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Christopher. And thanks for joining us for another conversation on The Conversation. Stay connected with us on social media. We'll see you next time.